the key idea that we are looking at in Natujenge is there are many things that we know, and I know the seniors who are here, there is knowledge that they know. They know they have an experience, and that experience is what the young guys lack. We have always talked about the academia and the industry, and there is a huge gap. Our belief is that the people in the industry have to extend their hand and work with the guys in the university to ensure that we get the right skills with our students. So what we're doing is we are basically empowering the young generation by creating that talent pipeline that can do more. So things like, especially for me, having come from the telco space, you realize that what throws our people off are those many protocols. And at the bottom of it is just the bytes. So being able to just decode the bytes and split them accordingly is some of the skills that our people lack, and that has costed us a lot. So Natujenge is all about bridging that thing, and it's about also promoting that culture of sharing. We would like, for those of you who have a lot of experience, we do not want you to die with that experience. We believe that what you know can actually impact other guys. All we are requesting you is that you come and join us. So these are call to action for you to join us in sharing what you know. So Natujenge is not about Meliora sharing what they know and Kamochu or even Peter sharing what they know. It's about all of us coming together to share so that we can impact the next generation. So of course we have to start so that we can encourage you guys to come on board and share what you know. I believe even if you have 20 years of experience, you can compress that content and make it easier for the younger generations. The younger generation, that is. So we also want to be the Jetty. So we know that there is a lot of content out there. So we are not saying that we are the masters of Spring Boot, we are the masters of bytes, we are the masters of SS7 or SIGTRAN protocols. But what we are saying is that there is a lot of content out there, but we want to create a platform where guys back in campus can actually come and learn the basics. Our experience is that you find guys who are coming, they don't know much about the basics. VCS, Linux, just basic commands. Those are some of the things that we want to do so that we can get these guys on board. Even development, creating an API. We have seen how powerful that is to the guys that we've been working with. And within a very short time, we've been able to transition guys to deliver that. I know, Marlene, you mentioned Brian. Brian is actually one of our success stories. He was part of a delivery project, a software development partnership project in KCB. And he's just 21 years old, and he's in third year. And this is the story that we want to create. We want to see more brands coming on board, and the many interns who we have right now who are doing amazing stuff. That's the story of just taking these guys from the show and diving into the CEO of software engineering. So we want to democratize learning. So our intention is to remove the barrier to that right content that could make a difference. And our belief is that the students should learn for free, because in Africa, there is a lot we need to share. We need to get all those guys in campus to appreciate these things that we know, that help us develop the systems that we actually develop. So we need to partner with the universities to ensure that this information, this whatever that we know gets out to the people. And the other thing is, we still don't know how sustainable this is going to work, but we're inviting you guys to come on board and help us. But our belief is that a university students might not pay $1 or $10 course on Udemy. So we want to ensure that they get whatever that they need for free, so that we can empower them to do much. So what do we expect? So in the second season, we're going to do it differently. In first season, we were having the weekly sessions. In this season, we'll embrace learning on demand. So we have a Natujenge platform. Another good news, this platform has been created by the Natujenge team predominantly, of course, with our experienced engineers also guiding them. So you will learn at your pace. So you don't have to wait for week 10 for you to actually consume the content. You can consume the content from the beginning. And all the content we did in week 1 or demystifying all those basic things from OSI model to just protocols, APIs, and all those things. They'll be shared on our platform. Webinars, we'll be having webinars where we can now have engagements and get to hear from you and have Q&A. We'll have workshops, and these workshops, we have not figured out how all those things will happen, but we tend to have workshops, and we'll also have a YouTube channel, but we'll remain flexible. So we are going to adapt as you guys suggest or as we listen to the audience. So the other thing about Natujenge, we expect to see connections. I know last year we had groups that were working together, but we don't want to force groups. I'm a strong believer that the social patterns, the links between people, if we take advantage of that and overlay them with our technical patterns, such that the guy who is so good at front end, who has a very strong connection with a guy who is good at back end, if those two people are put together in one project, taking care of the technical modules, so that we marry the two patterns, then we get success. We have tried that and you have seen it work. And this is what we want to do, because at the end of the day, we don't want to create individuals that are good. We are not going to create the CBSs, the SDPs, and the SMSs in this country if we work as individuals. So our intention is to strengthen those connections, and the output is creating teams. And one thing that we'd also like to promote is, if one of our experienced guys here does content in a specific area, there is a difference between watching a video on YouTube and being able to watch a video from someone who you can actually call. So this is what we want to create, and we'll create a platform where you can actually engage the creators of the content, just in case you have any queries. So we expect both online and offline forums to promote these connections, because this is one of the key things within the program. So the other thing is creation. So we've talked about sharing. We've also talked about the connections. We're now talking about the creation. The intention is for those teams that are created to build stuff. We do not want guys to just have head knowledge. We give every chance, and all the people that we've worked with within the program, and the guys who have come on board for internship. So we always give them a chance to develop something from the beginning to the end, from ideation to launch. And that we have found to be very powerful. And this is why we are calling the program Natujenge. It's not just sharing, but sharing, creating those connections, and using those teams now to create products. So here we are calling for partners, because we do not have enough resources to ensure that everyone executes a product. But we know in the industry, there are many people who have challenges that could be worked on. So as part of the Natujenge in season 2, we will launch the Natujenge learning platform. That's why this session is called a pre-launch. So we'll be launching the Natujenge learning platform, which will have the courses, the projects that you're going to work on, upcoming and both completed, discussions to promote the connections, and the events when you're having those connections within the various areas. So we will have events in the universities, and all that is aimed at promoting the connections and creating the desired teams. So this is, we will be launching this, and it will be coming to you to just better test that. So now that we've shared what Natujenge is and what you expect in season 2, what is our expectation now that we invited you guys? Our expectation is that for the model to work, we need to work with the guys from the university or academia. So we are looking for some of you to become our champions, so that even as we push this agenda, you help us push it, because we believe it will make a huge difference in our country and in our continent. We also need industry champions. So one of the things I'll tell you is that unless, for us to actually give these young guys a chance to execute projects, we have had to partner with enterprises. And we need some of you guys who are professionals working for the companies that have challenges that can be solved by the young guys. We are inviting you guys to come so that you can partner with us, be our champion within our organization. And the idea is to ensure that we align the content also towards the industry needs, the organizations that you work with. If they use maybe Angular or whatever, Node.js, we ensure that we do content in that space. So we also want content creators. As I said, this idea is not about Kamochu sharing his knowledge. Definitely, it's about me sharing what I know to ensure that I can make it easier for the next generation. But it's about all of us also coming together to do the same. And we are doing it for the next generation. So as I said, when these guys learn, let's assume we take in season 2, we have about 1,000 guys coming on board. And let's assume out of that, we can create even 10 teams of 5 people each. That's 50, assuming that the other guys, 950, are not quite passionate about the program. Those 10 teams, what do we do with them? Because for us to have a successful model, they must execute projects. So one of the things is we want to work with the community, and the community will fuel the vehicle by giving us projects to be worked on and supporting them. I know some of these projects require some resources. So we are hoping that we can work with you guys, especially the guys in the industry and guys who have brilliant concepts, for us to try out this. We can start with simple projects so that we minimize the risk of failure. So whatever doesn't take too long. The other thing is, if you work within an enterprise, you can also fuel the machine by ensuring that you give us some of your problems, and we can find a model of operation where we can work with you. And lastly, we hope to do a lot of research and development. Personally, I'm very passionate about just playing with the bytes and the bits and ensuring that our guys one day can actually make the first voice call, just like we saw Safaricom Ethiopia doing, but with a technology stack that is built in Kenya. That will be a life-changing moment, I believe, and this is something that we are happy to partner with guys to do that. All these documents are available. We can read the RFCs, we can read the technical specifications from 3GPP, from IETF, all those things, we can read them and we can actually develop in that space. So in the event, this is something that sounds exciting to you, we'd like to partner with you so that we can identify projects and we can also support those projects. So looking forward, now that you know how you can plug in, so what are the immediate actions that you can take? So the plan is to launch the Natujenge YouTube channel, which we will launch today. We have a Natujenge YouTube channel. We'll share. We'll start posting our first, we'll do a series for the next 2 weeks. It's called Love the Bites, and we hope to share an episode every day. And the idea is to take our young guys from the basics of appreciating digital communication to all the way being able to deal with those complex protocols that we deal with. And we just make it very easy for them so that when they see little endian, big endian in a technical specification, then they're able to deal with that, or unsigned stuff like that. So I'll be the one taking you guys through the series, and this is just in line with being the example, setting the example or setting the pace for others to come and join us. So after that, we will also, during that time, we'll also be curating the content on the Natujenge platform, the learning platform, that we want to give it to the community for us to just share and for others to learn. So we'll be doing that in the month of April. And we'll also have the first community webinar. So probably after we are done with the first series, we hope to engage the community and gather feedback on what we'll have done. And probably during that time, we can probably release the beta version of the Natujenge platform. We'll also do an official launch of the platform. And once we do the official launch, we will essentially reach out to the university. And this is where the champions come on board. So this is why we are asking you to share your details and indicate the university that you come from or where you're studying, essentially. So let's engage. So I think, Marlene, at this time, I don't know whether you have those links, but we'll share our YouTube channel. One of the ways for you to support us is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn, but our preference is to share the content on LinkedIn because it's the professional network and that's where we want to operate. We also have a Natujenge WhatsApp group, which is a group that was created in season 1. We can have more you guys join there and you can use that as a communication channel. So that is it for today, and I'll move on just to the conclusion. The reason why we are starting the Natujenge program is because we believe you guys who are here, who have a lot of experience, you know that our national anthem calls us to Natujenge taifa letu and ndio wajibu wetu. So we also believe that we are doing this because we want to build our nation, and it is our ultimate responsibility, or it's what we're supposed to do for our nation. So we have a small team that has been running, leading the team. Of course, the content creation, as you heard, there are many guys who share. But we have Marlene, who ought to be the first person on the left, who is leading us in terms of the program management. So she's the one who has been engaging the young guys, scheduling these meetings and sharing what we need to know. Thank you so much, Marlene, for supporting us. I am the lead. Basically, I just want to set the pace so that others can now follow and we move on. We also have our own general, Peter Mutisia, who is very passionate about the dream that we have, and he's pushing us to ensure that we have content in readiness for the launch. So that's the interim team that is working on the Natujenge program. And we hope to get more people, and we need you guys to come and support us so that we can structure it, put the right accountability structures to ensure that this thing actually works. So thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of the session.